So in my previous video, I actually mentioned that the EM1, this is my first mirrorless camera that I got. You can see how small it is, and it's really cheap. It's using a Sony Exmor CMOS sensor, a micro four thirds version, because we all know that Sony's only have APS-Cs and full frame cameras. They have seemed to have given the micro four thirds to the EM1. So this is a really small camera, and it is able to shoot 4K, and being a micro four thirds camera, I can use lenses from Panasonic and Olympus and Panasonic Leica lenses and stuff. And 4K is cropped in, but if you're shooting at 1080p 60 frames per second, it's really good quality. And I must say, picture quality, being a Sony Exmor sensor camera, it's really good. The dynamic range is surprisingly awesome. If you want to see some photographs from this camera, I've done quite a few videos on this EM1 4K mirrorless camera. So right now we're going to do the mounting. This is a really nice small setup, very suitable for the Crane M2. So first of all, get your quick adjustment plate and that one screw. Yeah, basically that's it. Get your gimbal and attach your tripod below. Open it up, unlock the axis at the back here, the red axis. Loosen this axis as well, the red knob, just loosen it up so that you can grab it out and open it up. For easy reference, the joystick will be facing my direction. Alright, so get your quick adjustment plate and your screw. Place it like this underneath this portion here where the arrow goes on the right side of the camera. Then just screw it in. You don't have to screw it in all the way. Just make sure that it's flushed. We need to adjust it up and down later on, so you don't have to tighten it fully. And then following the arrow, just slide it in to this portion over here. Make sure to loosen the screw below as well before you are able to shove it in. Alright, so once you've got it in totally, you can see how small and nice the camera is. You still have some additional space at the side on the right hand side over here. So this is all the way in, so you can just tighten that for the time being. Alright, so now that it's all the way in, we can actually do with the roll axis first to get it centered. So you can just shift this left or right. Too much to the left, you just shift it all the way to the right. And make sure that it's somewhat centered. We will still need to do some minor adjustments here and there before we actually get everything properly set up. So just make sure that it's centered. This is the roll axis that we're doing right now. So just, if that seems centered to you like this, then you can just tighten the red knob. Like that. And then right now we're going to do the tilt axis. So the tilt axis requires you to loosen the screw below, and then you just push it forwards or backwards until it balances horizontally like this. So pretty much horizontally. You can see once you make adjustment to one of the axes, the other axis will probably go out of balance. So that's why I said we need to do minor adjustments here and there. So right now this seems to be fine, or maybe I just shift it front a little bit like that, and then just tighten the screw below. Make sure that it's flushed as well. Make sure that the camera is actually in line with the base plate. So we got the roll axis and the tilt axis halfway done. So right now we're going to do vertical. So the screw is over here. Just loosen that screw and you can actually shift it backwards or forwards with the camera facing upwards. Okay, so once you've got it vertically set up, you can now move on to the pan axis, which is the bottom here. So once you got that settled for the pan axis at the bottom here, basically there is a knob. Loosen that knob at the bottom here, and then all you gotta do is flip it 45 degrees to the left. And if it stays, if it doesn't, you can make some adjustments either backwards or forwards until you get it to stay without it rolling back. So if it does roll back, like I said, just adjust it adjust the pan axis forward or backwards until it stays at 45-degree angle. And then lastly, if you are using the EM1 kit lens, it is actually protruding when you actually zoom in and zoom out. So unlock the lens over here, this lock button, unlock this, and then you will need to actually rebalance it's all the way in so that is stable, but when you unlock it, it actually protrudes out like that. So you need to make the adjustment for it to actually balance at the 12 millimeters range, or if you're using whatever range, you gotta adjust it. If you're using the maximum 40 millimeters range, then you need to adjust the screw at the bottom here, because right now it's too front heavy. So loosen the screw. I'm going to do 12 millimeters range because it is a micro four thirds camera, so the field of view will be ×2 the crop factor, so that's actually a 24 millimeters full frame equivalent. So 12 millimeters normally works well for me, so I'm going to shift it backwards a little bit more until it balances. Then make sure the screw is flushed again and just tighten it. So right now, since we did all the adjustments, again, that you can see slightly off, this roll axis is actually slightly heavy to the left, so just make a minor adjustment and get that balance and just tighten the screw and we're all done. So you can see that it's perfectly balanced right now. So we're going to test it out. I'm going to turn on the Crane M2 and the camera. And there you have it. So really nice and light setup. If you're shooting at 1080p 60 frames per second with the stabilization, the EIS inbuilt in the EM1, really fantastic. If you are using the 4K, there is no stabilization there, so the gimbal will come in really handy. So in order to test the motors, we're going to test out the tilt axis motors to see if there's any balancing issues. So you're just going to tilt it up and down. Make sure that there's no funny noises. I'm going to do the test on the roll axis as well in vertigo mode. So I'm going to switch to vertigo mode right now. And how do you get to vertigo mode? In case you don't know, the mode button, press it once. You'll go to L, press it again to go to point of view, POV. Then in point of view, you double tap. You should go into go mode. In go mode, you double tap mode again and you will go into V, which is vertigo. So we're going to do a test in vertigo mode and make sure that there's no funny noises and it actually rotates 360 smoothly. And if it does, all should be good and well. Alright, so everything seems to be settled right now. So basically that was it. Yeah, really nice, easy setup and a really good cheap camera. Like I said, the body only costs about 350 bucks with the kit lens. And if you are looking for the best lens to use on this EM1, because being micro four thirds, like I mentioned, ×2 crop factor, and if you're shooting in 4K, it's even more cropped in. So getting a lens like this is from my Panasonic G9. Additional, this is the 7-14 millimeters f4 lens, so it's a super wide angle lens. Being 7 millimeters, this is a 14 millimeters full frame equivalent, so that's why this costs about $1,000. But this lens really suits the EM1 really well. Last of all, I'm just going to throw on this lens and see how it goes. Okay, so just made some adjustments to this axis over here, the roll axis. So right now vertigo mode works perfectly, so that's pretty cool. Yep, so basically very important to test out whether the axes are all working before you actually start filming. It'd be much easier for you. You know just now that in vertigo mode there was some issues, so I adjusted the pan axis below here. I adjusted this axis at the bottom here and everything works right now, so that's pretty cool and it looks great. It's perfect fit with this 7-14 millimeters lens. Very nice. You can shoot in 4K and still get some really good wide angle shots. So basically that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, and notifications button. I will be coming up with more setups. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one, and peace.